Hey guys, good morning. So, what we are going to be doing today in class is our African religions reading and questions. So, we are going to read the slides and answer the questions from the reading. And when you have finished, you need to watch the video on the last slide. And then you need to turn in the turn in the activity and work on any missing work you have. That could be the map from yesterday, that could be the vocabulary from Monday, that could be something from an earlier unit. So, I'm going to click on this and open it up. Now, African religions. So we're mainly going to focus on polytheistic. They're indigenous religions, focusing a lot on other things other than just God. And then Islam. And we're not going to really talk about Christianity, even though it did become widespread throughout Africa. So the standard we are covering today with this lesson is 722. We are going to explain indigenous African spiritual traditions, including ancestor worship, animism, and the relationship between humans and deities. So what we need to first be able to do is define what the words indigenous, animism, deities, and ancestor are. And then we need to be able to explain those traditions with ancestor worship, animism, and that relationship. So the word indigenous means native, means you are native to an area. All right. If you were born in Tennessee, you are indigenous to Tennessee. You are native to Tennessee. Animism is the attribution of a soul to plants, inanimate objects, and natural phenomena, basically meaning that everything has a soul. Everything has a spirit, everything. All right. The plant at your house, the desk that you're sitting in, the pencil you're using, the wind, things like that. Deities, gods or goddesses in a polytheistic religion. So instead of just worshiping God, think of like the ancient Romans or the Greeks, multiple gods there. And then an ancestor is a person, typically one more remote than a grandparent, from whom one is descended. So like a great grandparent, great grandparent. All right. Think of it a little bit like the movie Mulan. The animated movie Mulan. I haven't seen the live action, but the animated movie Mulan, you have the scenes where the ancestors are waking up and talking about Mulan and trying to figure out how to help her fix the family. Those are her ancestors. Those are people that she is descendant from. So we have reading slides, and next to the reading slides, we have questions. All right, so we have 4 reading slides, all with questions. So I'm going to read the slides to you and the questions, and then you need to answer them, obviously. In Africa, the 3 major religions are indigenous religion, Christianity, and Islam. Indigenous religions may include the worship of ancestors, spirits, gods, animals, land, inanimate objects, and natural phenomena. Natural phenomena meaning like wind, rain, things like that. Few written records exist about the indigenous religions of African spiritual traditions as they were passed orally by griots. So a griot is a singing storyteller used to pass down belief systems through generations. So griots would sing, they would dance, they would act, basically make anything they can do to make their history come alive. It's similar to a game of telephone. Oral traditions change over time and explains how the beliefs and customs of one group of Africans are not universally shared by others. So one group may believe one thing, another group may believe something totally different. So there is a great variety of beliefs and practices in African tradition. And then you have 3 questions here. What are the 3 major religions of Africa? Well, if you look up here, it's the top sentence. Indigenous religions include the worship of which 7 things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then what is a griot? Do, 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 do. All right, and then the next slide, we have pictures of griots. And then our next slide is animism. The belief in one supreme God, several other gods, spirits of ancestors, sacrifice to secure protection, and the need for a rite of passage are all included in animism. Animism is the belief that everything on earth has a powerful spirit that can help or harm human needs. Many Africans believed that the spirits of their dead ancestors were present on earth and existed in animals or inanimate or lifeless objects. These spirits would be called upon for help in times of need or trouble. Animism still exists today in sub Saharan Africa, Native American tribes in North and South America, and in Aborigines in Australia. So, explain animism. This sentence right here. What do many Africans believe happened to the spirits of their dead ancestors? We got this sentence here. What does the word inanimate mean? Look at the parentheses. Why would Africans call upon these spirits? And where else in the world does animism exist? You cannot copy paste, but you can at least pay attention to where my mouse is moving. All right. So, parts of animism in Africa, you have African masks, dancing rituals, body painting, and costumes. And this is really a lot of the ways that they learn to understand the world around them. All right, now we're moving on to ancestor worship. Africans believed that the spirit of their ancestors would live on in the spirit world and take an active interest in the well being of those who live on earth. Ancestors are feared and are the most commonly recognized spiritual force in Africa. Ancestors are thought to be unpredictable, cause sickness, death, and childlessness. Africans would consult their ancestors before the birth of a child, beginning of an agricultural season, so before you started planting your crops, prior to battle or for political conflicts. So if they're having issues with another tribe or there's issues within the tribe, they would consult their ancestors. Animals were sacrificed to the ancestors for blessings, gifts were given, and harvests were all offered to ancestors in hopes to please them and keep the living safe. All right, so our questions: where do Africans believe the spirits of their ancestors go? Okay. Ooh, right up here, top sentence. What are some of the reasons Africans fear their ancestors? Ooh, unpredictable, sickness, death, childlessness. Ooh. And why do Africans make offerings to their ancestors? In hopes to please them and keep them safe. Basically, don't make the ancestors mad. They could mess up your life. All right, and then here's some of the different ways that they practice ancestor worship, whether that is through dancing, whether that is through praying, things like that. And then our last reading slide with questions is humans and deities. Africans believed in a high God that created the world and governs the universe. The high God is too distant and has limited contact with the daily operation of human life, thus calling a need for deities or gods and goddesses. The deities control the day-to-day occurrences in human life. These lesser spirits could control creation, nature, leadership, and agriculture. Humans celebrate these deities through myth, songs, prayer, sacrifice, food, color, altars, images, rituals, and daily relationships. So they do believe in a high God. That is not the same God that Muslims, Jews, and Christians worship. That is not our God. I say our as a Christian area. Okay? Because that high God is so far away and doesn't really interact with the earth, they felt that deities or gods and goddesses are also there to deal with the day-to-day operations. So, do Africans believe in a high God? Well, that's your first sentence right there. Does this high God have daily contact with human life? Oh, it's that second sentence. What does polytheistic mean? You've talked about that this year, you've talked about that last year. You should know what that means. Who controls the daily life of humans? What are deities? What are 4 things that lesser spirits could control? And then name a couple of ways the humans celebrate these deities or gods. So when I say couple, like 2 or 3. list 2 or 3 of those ways. You could list more, but we're really only looking for 2 or 3. All right, and then we have some statues, just of some of those beliefs of their lesser gods. Another one of the masks, and then the creation story video is here. If you click on the Yoruba link, that is the belief. That is how they believe. The Yoruba tribe believed that the Earth was created. All right, guys. So when you are done with this, you are going to turn it in and work on any missing work. That could be your vocab from Monday, your map from yesterday. Bragg's class, that could be any work you have on the ICU list. Mrs. Romine's class, basically those couple of things. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.